steal the land. Somebody always can. Don't you know?
Oh, hot dang. Welcome up to the treehouse. It's What's Up Flobo After Hours. It's episode number 51. 51. Can you believe it? Almost a year I'm doing this thing and they haven't canceled me yet, YouTube. Ha! It's my birthday week, so I'm feeling a little older, but it's all right. As I ice my knee, I totally wrecked it over the past week and a half, but I won't commiserate that with you. Well, thank you so much for watching live on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube, and on Twitch. If you guys are following on any platform, hit that follow, hit that subscribe, because you know that's where I get the bills paid with that. I get paid in followers. But speaking of followers, I want to give a shout out to members of the Boisterous crew. That is our Patreon, patreon.com/FloboBoys. That means people like Christopher C, Christy H, ACH, Edric P, Oliver E, Princess Leia, Matthew C, Lindsay U, and Richard R. Unlock bonus content, other interviews, especially my book club called the Flobo Book Club. It's worth a skim. But you didn't come here to have me ramble about my knee and promote stuff, although you really should. My knee really hurts. It's about the guest. And today it's someone brothers in arms in the comedy world, is doing so much big things on here and in the digital space and on TikTok and on boats and in the animated booth, because the voiceover is popping too. Give it up for the man about town, Justin Rupple. How's it going, sir?
My goodness. Can I just cancel all of my representation and just hand it over to you? I will give you 20% of everything I do.
It's all caffeine, baby.
No, that can't be caffeine, because I go to Starbucks every morning and nobody there is anywhere near as kind to my career as you. That was they don't even get my coffee correct. So thank you for having me. My goodness.
No problem, man. What's your coffee, by the way? What's your coffee order? I'm curious.
My coffee order every day is the same. My wife used to work at Starbucks, so we try to go for the quickest thing you can make and the thing that's the easiest to make overall. So I get a large venti drip coffee. Pike Place is the number one coffee that they have there. It's just Pike Place roast, and then I add a lot of cream and 3 sugars.
Okay, yeah. I will say this, maybe I'm being a bit of a snob, but I like the blonde roast. So I go at 2 o'clock in the afternoon and I go, I'm sorry, sir, all I have is Pike. And I'm like, pour over, please.
You get pour over right now. No, I won't make them do the pour over. And furthermore, I hate the blonde roast. It's more caffeinated.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. What's up, Sherman? Sherman, GSN fan. What's up,
man?
It's so much caffeine and it's lighter, and I like the coffee really dark and acidy. I want it to hurt a little bit. You know what I mean?
Right.
Coffee should be a reminder you're awake and you better get used to it. You know, it's time for pain.
That's like the Old West, cowboy
right.
coffee.
The chicory coffee, where it had the grounds and you just boiled it in there and it's sludge out of the glass. Yeah, basically.
I've done it before. The sludge coffee, because my dad, he is very old and he doesn't like to make it himself. So you give him any kind of coffee machine, he freaks out. So he does freeze dried Folgers, and I swear to you, that's like drinking leather, bro. I just can't.
It is. My family is Armenian, so they and the Turks do the coffee with the grounds in the pot.
Yeah.
And then they ladle in 6 heaping teaspoons of sugar, and you're not supposed to have any cream with that. And I'm like, it tastes, it'll get you going.
Right.
But I need some cream, because my palate, I drink so much coffee that I'm convincing myself this is cutting it a little bit.
Right. Well, like me, we say caffeinated because we're doing a bunch of things, and you're doing a bunch of things. I did a little Google search about you, and it was so many results. My man, I got to ask you the top question, man. When you go to parties, or if you do that, I don't know, a pandemic or anything, and someone asks you, hey, what do you do? How do you put all your different slashes into a ball? How do you?
Depends on what I want to tell that person. You know what I mean?
That's some James Bond shit, bro. All
right. So, when you're flying someplace and you're doing comedy somewhere, if you come up to a talker and they ask you, you could tell them you do comedy.
Right.
But if you do that, there's going to be a lot more questions.
Sure.
So I could tell them I do stand up, and that would be a lot of questions for some people. And then some people, if you tell them you do voiceover, they'd be like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And but comedy, comedy, voiceover, acting in general do spawn a lot of questions. So I try to, and I don't ever tell people I do voices, because then if you're at a party and people are drunk, that's all they want to hear from you for the rest of the night. So
how do you respond to that? Are you like, man, fuck you, pay me? Or is it kind of like, I'll give you one?
I'm such an attention whore.
Yeah.
I will probably do it, which is why I don't go to many parties, because like I'll have my friends over that, you know, the friends who know me, and you know, we'll have like little house parties. But if I go and I don't know, are you like this? Like, it's okay to be in front of a stage like this, but when I'm not in control and it's like a small, large groups or something, I kind of get a little like, let's leave this area.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I'm that way too with a lot of things. I feel like the MC's curse. It's like when your whole job is to make sure everyone's having a good time.
Right.
When you plan something and no one's having a good time, it's like, ooh.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. Like, I don't, I can watch everybody else have a good time, or I better be in control of it. And if I'm not in control of it, then I got a real issue. Like, so if I go to parties, if there's not a microphone that I can dominate, like if I go to a party and they're doing karaoke, I better be the number one person singing. Like,
oh, absolutely.
Otherwise, if I'm not, I'm like, well, I'm going insane.
Well, what's the karaoke song? What's the choice?
I'm that asshole who starts off with like the Rat Pack, you know, like let's do some crooner songs, right? And then I'll work my way up to the more lyric heavy, like B.O.B. by Outkast.
Oh, me too. I do it by heart. Uno, dos, tres, on.
Yeah, dude. The big boy part, I lose a few steps.
Oh yeah, it's hard.
Big Boy and his rhyming schemes. Like, everybody gives Andre so much credit, and he deserves it because of all the stylistic stuff he's done and the innovative side of them, not so traditional Atlanta hip hop. But Big Boy's, oh man, trying to keep up with him in his lyrical tone, very low rapper too, like very quiet. And I could barely do it, but I was pretty good at the Andre 3000 part. So like I would do a lot of those, and then like later on, if I'd try it, I'd like go out of range and sing like alternative 90s rock.
You got to collab on that, because that's like what, you know, they said every gentleman has a party trick. Like my party trick is karaokeing Bob was our back there without teleprompter. So we totally do that. We should probably get together. We got some questions for you right in the chat. I haven't get to my questions yet, but okay. Haywood saying, with voiceover work, do you like doing it solo or in a group?
Oof, that's an extremely good question. So I've done a lot of ADR and looping, and that is. Oh, I just saw that come up. Thank you. And that's really fun when you're in a group and on a sound stage with everybody, and you get to do like audience background stuff. And if you're lucky enough to be with the characters that, you know, are going to be in the movie with you, that's really cool. Yeah. But that's so rare. Like nowadays, everybody's schedule is so thrown out that if you do, like, I didn't meet any of the characters from How to Train Your Dragon. Like, I was in there and I got to watch their voice character played back to me, but I didn't get to see them. And none of us were in the same room ever. Everybody, you know, collaborated.
Yeah. Let's talk about that. Like the How to Train Your Dragon. I mean, it's fantastic. I actually took a little clips of it today. Getting that phone call. Was it weird being like, yo, we need you, and you're replacing this guy?
Yeah. Here's the thing is that, you know, comedy is such a small world. When you get into it for a while, you realize that everybody meets everybody. So I've had my sets and weeks with the actor who played my character. And that's how I got good at his voice, you know? Yeah. So when they call you and they're like, you're going to replace him, it's excitement. It's bittersweet. It's, you know, it's anxious because you're like, I better get it right, you know, because the character is the character. It shouldn't matter about anything else, and trying to get it most spot on as you could. The good news is, I still think most people in the world who really like that franchise didn't know that they replaced the voice, because the sound team and hopefully my presentation was good enough that you didn't necessarily know unless you read into it ahead of time.
Yeah.
and the movie was very good. So I think, I ultimately I hope it worked out, but damn, that call was like instant flash sweats. I was on a cruise ship when I got it. I'm like,
Yeah.
I can't be at this audition. They're like, well, get here.
Right.
So
I'm at sea. What do you want from me?
I caught an iceberg from Alaska.
You wrote it. Had a hard. Did TJ ever say anything about it? Have he called you up and said good job or nothing about it? You guys do West Side Story when you see him in the streets now? How does that work?
I heard that he approved.
Oh,
I when talking with the director, I think that when they ultimately gave him the news and that we had a few people, I think he knew the few people and was okay with it.
yeah.
It's a tough situation for everybody, and DreamWorks was wonderful, and and Dean was spectacular and super comforting, the director, and I haven't spoken to TJ. If he hears this, he knows that, and I think everybody, most people understand that an impression usually is somebody that you watched enough that you wanted to emulate them. Like I don't do a Trump impression. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean,
I don't want to sound like him. Like
right.
There's plenty of people I could sound like, but I'm like, so like the characters I do for the most part, I'm like, yeah, it's tough when somebody gets into a situation, and you're like, that's really difficult.
Yeah, and to clarify for those listening, like I will know enough for a tag. Like I'll do a Trump tag. I'll say like China, but like to sit there and to learn a mannerism is a whole different like issue altogether. Right?
I like to think if I'm doing an impression, I give you the full breadth of the person. Like I want to take your high notes, your low notes, your mediums. I want to take you at excited and happy and sad. And to do that, I really have to watch a lot and stare at you for hours, and there's some people I can watch for 10 minutes and be like, that's good. I got what's going on here. And then there's some people I can watch for hours. I can watch Jeff Bridges for hours. I can watch Cat Williams for hours. I can watch Dwayne Johnson for hours. These are people that entertain me. And I'm like, there's something about them I want to be, and then you can allow yourself to be that person for a little while.
Does someone have an impression of you at all?
I bet. My really close friends, they do like, I stop a lot in my sentences and then rephrase. So that's their big thing when they do an impression of me. They're like, ask me a question, and I'll respond as Justin. It's like, so what are you doing today? Well, to start, they started with. Now let me rephrase, and but I don't know the voice pattern. I do so many other impressions and I kind of just sound like a radio. Or like either a radio news guy or like a news guy right off the top. You know what I mean? Like,
right. That's actually a sign of intellectualism, to be honest with you, to be able to try to context what you're trying to say for the people you're with. That's like an extra step. So you should be proud to do that.
Well, that's a great compliment.
He's like, what?
Jeez. No wonder people watch. This is good.
It's award winning. See that? Bam.
When you said come on the show, I didn't think I was going to feel better about myself, but
it's a gold package.
They said that so what do I owe you to come on here?
Right.
When I was in broadcasting school, they said that the accent I grew up with, the Seattle accent, is also called the broadcast diction, which is the elimination of any American accent at all. And I think when you think about the American accents, because we're a land of immigrants, you have to think about where in the country you are from, and it's all that immigrational pattern helps to build the accent, right? Like that's why Louisiana sounds French. You're like, wait, what? Yeah, there was a lot of French immigration, and I do the radio news guy today. Yeah.
Yeah, you got some
Good morning. The time is 6:20. Here's your local news. This morning, Los Angeles state firefighters have found that it was arson in last night's downtown structural fire. We go to Melissa Tompkins for more. Melissa?
Wow.
Thanks, John. Yeah. Well, I've played a news person in a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
That's what I play a lot. Is that this is just
Hey, as long as the check cashes, right? That's
it cashes. Dude, I have the smallest parts possible in Spider-Man and Legends of Tomorrow, but that's DC and Marvel.
Wait, you're in the MCU and the DC universe at the same time?
We're talking like a few lines, but it's enough that it's pivotal to like the plot of Spider-Man Homecoming
Yeah.
and to Legends of Tomorrow, the TV show. Like, so like technically, I mean, like if I'm really reaching.
My man's got lines, y'all. Big time. This is a huge ass get.
Yeah, I say something like in Spider-Man, and in local news, last night an ATM robbery thwarted by a local vigilante. Unfortunately, Del Mar's Bakery was taken out in the process, but seen here, your local neighborhood Spider-Man was on call last night, seen here in these pictures. And so, like, it's the first time he sees himself as the Spider-Man on television.
Yeah.
And that's me. So,
yeah. Wait, what Spider-Man was that? Was that the
Homecoming?
Homecoming. Okay. Wow.
With Michael Keaton.
I have to go back. That's actually a pretty good movie. Actually, I can't.
That was a good dude. That movie, Marvel really. I mean, they really did well. So much. So.
And I guess we're gonna ask about Legends because
which season? I can't remember. I play a demon that takes over the body of one of our female heroes. I'm the dead son or dead brother. I'll look at it's on the. I think it's on my IMDb. I hope it is. My God. Because otherwise, I've just said something that's completely unprovable. But the check did cash. I play a demon. So like she has a spiritual moment and she turns into another human being. And I have to do a demon voice, which blew out my voice for like 6 days.
Oh man. Did you get stunt pay for that?
Oh, yeah, actually.
Right.
Did you get just like 150 more, I think. Have you ever heard of what's it called? Throat singing?
Oh, the Mongolian stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like where you're doing 2 tones at once?
Yeah.
I got my throat to whistle and be like vibratory up top, like that whistle sound.
Oh yeah.
And it was like that kind of like, and I was able to pitch it right. But then like a week after, I couldn't speak.
Man, your wife would have been like, wait, what happened at work today? Well, I was a demon, babe. You know how it goes.
My throat, I turned into a demon just momentarily.
Well, Marcus, I wish I could impersonate. I could do tags. I think impersonation is like the full-on characters. I don't really do that. But I will do a certain kind of thing just for emphasis on things. That's why I get professionals on my show.
That will, like he asked, I said when and how. So that you don't need to be impersonated when you command that much power.
So you've entertained all over the planet in different masses on boats and screens. Like, is there one that you prefer? Is that kind of a thing you're like, I'm more at home in this space, or is kind of like, oh baby, I'm an entertainer. I go wherever you guys book me.
That's more of it. Like, and if COVID has taught me and a lot of entertainers anything, it's that. Sorry, my family's still in the other part of the house tonight.
Is it game night? Like,
it is a game night.
It's like Yahtzee.
It is Yahtzee.
Oh, called it.
Hand to God.
Yeah.
It is Yahtzee. They're playing out there. Sorry, but
it's all good.
Yeah. Yahtzee. I can't believe it. I really like. COVID really did say like, whatever microphone, even if it's not a microphone, if it's a gathering of people and I get to be part of it and entertain in whatever faction that is, then I'm doing it. Like I may have said no in the past to a few things, but now it's yes to everything all the time.
Yeah.
Because, it's the old doggy training, when you're training a dog, you take something away and they're going to miss it and realize that, that has to be earned and respected. And I think, entertainers and audiences around the world got it too good. Like we had it too good for so long that, the universe is kind of like, oh yeah, well, you can lose it. Like, and here's what happens when you do. How do you like your Netflix now? You know what I mean?
True. So that's good, like a good mic drop there. But like I felt very similar to you. I guess my career is not as advanced as yours. I haven't gone at sea at the time, but it was supposed to be this was supposed to be the year last year. Supposed to be the year. Didn't work out. Writing new stuff now. I'm back, baby. But when you're going out there post pandemic, has your brand changed? Did you have to come up with a new gimmick for your own benefit as a creative, or it's kind of like no, we're going back vintage, back to basics? What was your approach?
What a great question. So when I first started coming out of the pandemic or into the pandemic, let's start there. I had to rebrand. I was supposed to be on one of the cruise ships that got stuck at sea.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So if the pandemic had been called 1 week sooner or 1 week later, I mean, into mid-March, I would have been on that cruise ship. So,
Whew.
and for 12 weeks at a minimum contract, and then another 6 or 7 weeks after that. And I would have had multiple panic attacks and just, it would have been really bad. But when that stopped, I had to do, I was falling, I had to do whatever I had to do. I took a, job as a delivery driver for a while because I had set up for my whole tour. And luckily, at the same time, I had a lot of friends who were in the recording business. And we turned to what you did. I made an online show for colleges and corporates that used to book me to go on the road. And I called all those ones that I was supposed to go do. And I said, look, we can reformulate the show. I was supposed to be at your place this June, July, and August and September, and let's do it this way instead. And I made a choose your own adventure impressions show and just and built sketches that allowed them to kind of plug and play, and then did like musical karaoke and stuff like that made it a show that allowed a group to feel like they were connected to the performance instead of just me talking at them. And it worked. Yeah, it got me through till we started performing. And then when I started performing, I think people really want real genuine stuff right now. They want what you're doing. We're having a real conversation about real emotions and what really happened. And so when we got back, if you weren't talking a little bit about the pandemic, or if you weren't talking about what you really did over the last year, then people didn't want to hear it. And they're like, this joke feels pre-pandemic. Like we're not buying that shit right now. Like we're not doing that, And I think that we all had to reformulate and kind of find a way to scooch around that. And I have true material about what happened during the last year and a half, and it's good. It takes time to build. There's still some stuff that feels like it slips into it, and you find a way to connect those fibers to the past and bring it through.
Yeah.
I think it changed us all forever, but in a better way.
It kind of reminds me of not reminds me. I always wonder watching Avengers whether or not there was a comedy club during the blip. You know what I mean? Like, what's the deal with my mom? She was the dog. Like, I wonder what that would be like if it was a collective experience. See, right before the pandemic, I had a little single release. It's called 10,000 Life Coaches. And the main joke in that little single or 8-minute single was that my last day job, I sold hand sanitizer door to door for this Nigerian company. Wow. And the joke and the serious thing is tragic, but the fact that people are just so adverse to anything Nigerian, it was weird. No one wanted his hand sanitizer. But had I held on to that because it was gold and did it now, it'd have been like, oh yeah, Purell jokes. Oh, come on. It would seem so fake, even though that really did happen. And so that's been the hardest thing for me, is trying to write from a place where I don't want to do things we've all tried, but make it authentic to myself. So I'm just curious how you did it, man.
I have a buddy who said that if you look at my material, and he's like, if he's been on the road with me a lot, he's like, if you look at your material, Rupple, and you really examine the stuff that works for you, it's the stuff where you're suffering or you're the butt. And he's like, so my suggestion to you is find the biggest pain points in your life and share those with everybody. And that seems to be the best I could hope for. I find the most embarrassing, most tragic things that happen to me, and I tell them as honestly as I can. And I tend to I tend to take things out of context or out of control very easily. So small things offend me, and also I'm not very good at decision making. So a lot
Wait,
of
when you say small things offend you, like how small we're talking?
I'm talking like I have misanthropia, which is the you can't hear people chewing and not get pissed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So if I hear people chewing or making mouth noises,
Yeah.
they're chewing or clearing their mouth constantly. If I'm in a movie and someone's behind me and they take a sip of their drink and I don't like the way they sip their drink, like I hate that person. Like, and that kind of anger over something that's small, when I describe it, it gets pretty, I like it. Mouth sounds sound like intimate mouth sex stuff. And I don't want to hear your intimacy when you're having.
I'm just eating Doritos, bro. What are you talking about?
Exactly. I don't need to know you enjoy Cool Ranch everywhere. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
and it's the little things, like it's the little things are the things that show me that you care about somebody else. So when you don't do the little things, like you don't park your car parallel and then back it in correctly to like close enough to somebody that they can get out, but close enough that if there's other people on the street that you can fit more cars there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
when people park their parallel cars and then they leave way too much space between the cars, and you're like, I can't fit another motorcycle in there, but now you just took away two other cars you can't park in the street because you had to park like a prick.
It's America.
You know? I know. And it's those tiny little things that I'm like, look, that shows that you clearly don't give two rats' asses, and that's where I get peeved. And oftentimes I'm the idiot in those situations. Yeah.
Sherman actually agrees. Those sounds do sound disgusting, though.
Oh, bro, I can't. I mean, like, here's the worst: is that when I lose sleep or when I don't have enough food in my system and I hear those things, it's liable to make me snap, and it's never the person's fault. Like,
right.
Most times, here's the thing: the loud mouth chewers, the ones that are like, I don't mind that as much. It's this. Ready? Here, hold on.
Okay.
Catch it?
The
That
lip
little,
smack. The lip smack.
or
Yeah.
or like later on, like or something like just
You're going to stab somebody, and the police officer will be like, "What happened?" Yo, he had an apple pie. I just couldn't do it.
He had the audacity to bring a sucker onto the train. Okay.
This is actually
He's a 46-year-old. He got the dum-dum from Wells Fargo, and he thought the train is the place to eat this. We all have to share the space. Now we don't have to share this world with him. I killed him, but yes, I mean, I did it for all of us.
Did it for all of us. This is actually a good question from David. He asked, "How do you feel about ASMR then?"
I hate it.
Oh wow.
ASMR is just the absolute worst. It's because it's all right. So when you, he licked too loud. Exactly. Officer, are you familiar with the sound of eating a banana? Have you ever heard someone eat a banana? You can hear their teeth click through the banana. Like,
yeah, it's like paste. You're eating it's like paste. Yeah.
Yeah, it's paste. And when you hear that, this one guy, I look, since it's here's the thing. Now you can see I'm getting riled up. When it's your problem, you have, you fix it. The rest of the world, all right, like for many, many cultures around the world, chewing with your mouth closed and making a lot of mouth noises is okay. It's good. It's encouraged. In Japan, you're showing, you're burping, you're showing loud mouth. I'm enjoying it. I'm making the sounds of that. So if I were to go there, then I'm the one who's an idiot. So I put on noise canceling headphones. I try not to eat with, people who do that, so I don't offend them.
Right.
But if you know that about me and you don't meet me halfway, I will crush you. I will I would want to eviscerate your being. You know what I mean? Like don't just meet me
just eat before you're hanging out with you is what you're saying.
Right.
Don't even
I'm
put it
not
up to
on the first 5 times we hang out, but on the 6th time when I tell you, like, look, I'm a little bit insane. I got this thing. I can't hear you eat. And if you do any of that shit, I'm not, we can't, like I have one friend of mine who eats his cereal with his, like the spoon is like a fist. He puts his, not like a civilized human like this.
Civilized human.
Like he takes like it just like a like that.
Yeah. Nom 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 nom.
And this is my best man at my wedding. You understand? Like, and I just go, look, Chris, we're gonna have to.
That I'm so glad I asked what offended you. I thought you'd be like, the problem is with farm subsidies. You're like, no. Just chewing. That really ticks me off.
Exactly.
That grinds my gears.
Bigger message. You know what I mean? This is the person who would vote against, bills that would be like, yeah, what's in it for me?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what's in it for me. They're gonna survive, and
they're gonna ban bananas. So as everything is quote unquote coming back, do you want to do more of the cruise ships and the touring, or is voiceover the main goal? Do you have a main goal? Is that a dumb thing to ask?
It's not a dumb thing to ask. It's a real question I don't have an answer to yet. Like,
okay,
part of me wants to go right back out to touring, and then part of me is like, but in 2018 and 19, I was gone 34 weeks of the year, and while that was good, I got to do comedy. It was for small shows. I mean, your audience isn't like immediately that's who that guy, so it's not like I was making millions of dollars. So if I could find a more efficient way to stay home or stay around Los Angeles and do all that, that would be helpful. Those roles are great when they come up. I hope I get another one like that, and especially in the voiceover realm. That's really great and really easy to stay around with. But also, I've done some shows in clubs since, and stand-up is so good.
Yeah.
Especially right now, everybody needs to laugh and needs a little bit to be around other people. Like, I know it's scary, but we all desperately want that physical interaction again in some form or another. And this is going to be one of those times where it's kind of like, I don't know if you've ever, I did a little dark, but if you've ever been to a funeral and a lot of your friends are gathered for that funeral because it was a friend of yours, there will be a lot of somber moments, but somebody will eventually crack a joke.
Oh yeah.
That joke will crush.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it will, like, you'll almost have a lack of like, because it's that release, you know? Well, we just had 16 months of funeral, so it's time for some release. And if you go out and you do stand-up right now, you're going to be part of that epic release. So
how do people book you? Is it like, hey man, you have a good following, or I saw you on this show before? Do you go, oh, I love your impressions? Like, what's the avenue someone goes, we want to give you money?
So it depends on really where you want to go. If you want to be a club performer, perform in the comedy clubs, the chains and so forth, you're going to need one of two things. You're going to need a large following of your own on social media, where you can amass ticket buyers, or you're going to need good reps who have already built up a good standing with those clubs.
Yeah.
And then they'll make that call for you and be like, hey, take your first round with this performer on us, take it on our word. And then you go up and you crush. And then now that's a regular part of your, your tour. But if you don't have an agent, then what you do is you amass an audience who can purchase tickets. You call them because they're not going to call you. There's too many comics.
Right.
Great comedians. No one.
I sent an email. Yeah, I've been there.
There are, like the top 300 performers do get calls, but I'm not going to sit here and tell you like I'm getting those calls. I may get those calls through agents. Like I talked to your agent and they really pitched you well, or I saw something of yours, and occasionally they're coming right for you, but you're competing against a lot of other talented people. So the best way to do that is to figure out where you want to play, figure out how they find out about people. And each one is different. So like I said, clubs, cruises, and colleges are all agents. If you want to play corporates, If you want to play one-nighters, that's all you.
Yeah.
You go out, you advertise yourself to the corporate world. You put your stuff up there. You buy advertisements to bring them to your stuff. You want to do one-nighters, you call the venue and say, I'll four-wall this. I will put up all the money to rent out the place tonight, and then I get to sell ticket prices and I recoup what I get back, and I'll take 10. Yahtzee. I'll take 10% at the door, or 10% of the liquor or food sales for the night, and so those are kind of the two ways you have. You either use yourself as a promoter as you go to agents. I have done a little mix of both,
Yeah.
During the pandemic, there's a lot of the agent stuff was tough. So you had to kind of guerrilla it, go out in the warfare and, pop up from the side and be like, do you need someone to do an auction for charity? And you're like,
right.
Comedy? And you're like, no, but it is today.
Yeah. I'll do it all.
Exactly.
It's a plates. Yeah.
You pull out all the stops and all the tricks and, I don't like the comics or the actors or the people who are like poo-pooing all the effort to find a new way.
Oh, yeah. No,
just wait till the world opens. Shut up. Like, award people who are trying. You know what I mean? Like, I heard a lot of comics crap all over Zoom comedy shows. I didn't do a Zoom open mic. This is not real comedy. Shut your face. The world desperately wanted something. The comics have an identity attached to it, and they were trying their best, and you're gonna crap all over it. Shut up.
Oh yeah, I mean, for me personally, I got into video game commentary, like because it's almost like, remember when Dennis Miller did Monday Night Football?
Of course,
it's kind of like that. It was like, hey, look, no one's doing video games with this air of comedy. That was kind of my thing. But yeah, there were some purists like, that's not gonna make you any money. What are you doing? You know what I mean?
Look, DL Hughley put it best. He said, my comedy is the water. You give me the vessel. You tell, is it a vase? Is it a cup? Is it a bowl? And obviously I'd like to put it into this particular vase, but if you'll send me a vase, I'll fill it with what I've trained myself to do, which is to find the pressure point and find the release point in any topic we're talking about. Find where it hurts, and find how to turn that off. So
I want to say how I got back reintroduced to you, because I think we did a show years ago. I think we did like was a Flappers thing. I had no idea, because I like to be like, hey, you're whatever. We did the whole connection things. You know how it is. Comedy shows. But I saw you on TikTok. You were actually, even though I do follow you there, you were on my FYP. I was like, dang. I mean, that's you made it. I mean, forget touring. That's what you're in.
Yeah, no, that's changed the game, man.
How's it been for you? Because you got a following there. Yeah,
honestly, that's the perfect point to the just be genuine. I started a TikTok a year ago, and really a lot of manufactured stuff. A lot of green screening, a lot of face swapping, and a lot of stuff like that. And it just wasn't taking. Pardon me, hiccups. It just wasn't taking at all. Like, people weren't watching. People didn't care. Mm-hmm. And then I was going into another comedy show. I was going into a Jam in the Van show. And if you know those shows out in Los Angeles, this incredible production team at Jam in the Van, check them out. Their shows are incredible. They have this outdoor theater. Theater is, it's that doing whatever you had to do. They built a makeshift stage that's now a beautiful stage. And there was a van that sells food, and it's outdoors, and everybody's masked, and they would, have sponsors and all this stuff. And so I was going to this incredible show with all these incredible people on there. And so I was like, on the way in, I might as well do a TikTok. There's something else. I'm in such a good mood. Right? I'm in such a good mood.
Right.
That I'll do Dwayne Johnson. And I was like, here's literally before I get out of the car, here's how to do a Dwayne Johnson impression in 30 seconds. And I was like, His family's from American Samoa, and his mother had an accent. I didn't say his mother, but somebody corrected me because his family's from Oakland or Florida. His mother had an accent growing up, and he had accents from Florida and Samoa in his head,
Right.
Because when you grow up with a family who had accents, you're kind of like, do I speak like them or do I speak like what I hear on TV?
True.
Who do I want to replicate to make the original sound that is me? So somebody got a hold of him early on in acting and said, all right, over enunciate. That's how you get rid of an accent, because that's how how now brown cow.
Classic.
And the way he talks, when I tell you that he over enunciates, now you can't not hear it, because just him saying those few words is how now brown cow.
Holy crap.
Right? That's how you do him.
Yeah.
And then you think about that and like, I hate the sound of your voice. I want to rip your throat out and then eat it as a burger. And then you can take him and like, it doesn't matter how you, and it's over. It's over enunciation and all that. And so I just did that. It's like, here's how you do it in 30 seconds. And I went into the comedy show and I come back and it's at like 100,000 in a few hours. And then a few days, it's like 2 million.
Whew.
And 2.5 million. And then I was like, all right, maybe this is something. So I just started kind of like throwing them out there. Here's how I do these voices. Here's how I do this stuff. And those worked. And then the second I got a little like, here's some more production behind it. You think that's cool? People are like, no. You stick to just being it. This should be no production, be real, be you. And that's it. So, I was real, and I'm like, all right, well, shit, what's really real? Here's the voices I do. Here's the movies I do. Here's the people I care about. Here's the, this is my house. This is my dog. This is like, and that kind of sharing, people are like, yeah, okay, you're real. I get it. It's not green screen. It's not a face swap app. This is real you. And now people are starting to, 40, 50,000, 60,000 some odd followers ish. I think it's like 50 maybe. And I can see that every time I do something really genuine, people are like, okay, we can tell you're not faking that, or you didn't put airs on. And that is a lesson, I think, to every good entertainer, that if you can figure out how to be yourself in the most genuine way possible, then you can really, eventually you'll find your vein and you'll have fans. It may not be the whole world, but 1 million fans is 1/100th of the world population. One 1,000th or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, it's
right, math. Yeah,
so it means it's just like you just have to have one fan out of 1,000.
Yeah,
and you got 1 million.
That's actually pretty cool. I was dealing with that myself. I was like, man, I mean, not necessarily like I need fans, but you're like, man, is anyone seeing this beyond the walled garden of people I know personally? Are there people out there that I don't know who are watching my content?
I had the actor who plays, and forgive me, I'm forgetting his name. It's with a D. Very nice guy. The actor who played Rufio in Hook.
I'll look up for you in the meantime.
Yeah, please do. He's a super sweet guy. And I met him accidentally at an art gallery that my wife took me to. And I was like, oh my God, it's Rufio. And he's like, yeah, it's
Dante. Oh, Dante Pasco. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And I was talking to him and I'm like, I actually follow you on Instagram. He's like, I got a pretty good following. This was like 8 years ago. And we started talking about football. He liked the 49ers. I was a Seahawks fan. And then I was like, can I ask you about Instagram? What do you recommend? I can't figure out where to put my material, or YouTube or whatever. And he goes, you need to figure out how to get 100 die-hard fans. Die-hard fans. And I was like, what does that mean? He means, I mean, like, you put out an album, they buy it. You're on a live show, they're watching. You have, something happening for you, they're recording it. You do all that. That 100 of them.
Yeah.
Because those 100 people will make you such a part of their life that they'll hit everybody else in their life for you.
Yeah.
And the law of exponential multiplication will be that 100 will get you 10,000. 10,000 will get you 100,000. and it will go very quick. Once you get to the 10,000 and the 50,000 and the 100,000, it starts rapidly climbing, and it's just getting that die hard 100. So when I try to think about like, how do I make a material? Well, what would make my 100 people really go, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's him. That's where he's hitting the sweet spot. That's the stuff I like, and try to hit there.
Let's see what's going on in the chat there. Going viral is crazy. James Lott Jr. was the bread and refrigerator guy. That viral video has blown up.
Of course.
And keep it simple, he agrees. And you shared a major personal thing on TikTok. That's true. And David Manny says people are thirsty for genuine people. Thirsty.
They're just I love people like I follow this one young woman who is in a wheelchair and has this dark, morose sense of humor. She can only use one of her arms and responds to trolls to her. Like anybody would troll a woman in a wheelchair, but her comedy writing and timing about her self-awareness and her own image and where she fits in the world is so genius.
Yeah.
And I started following her at 20,000. She's at like 700,000 followers now. And it just occurred to me that, and this is going to sound super young or super, washed up in the thing. But what I love about TikTok is it'll give a voice to people who would never have their stuff seen.
Yeah, the algorithm.
It forces you into someone's algorithm. You're going to watch this whether you like it or not. You can't skip. I mean, you can kind of skip it, but you can't fast forward. You have to sit here and watch it. And if they have something that they present, if they got a talent, a skill, if they got something to show the world that's unique about them, and if they really believe in it and hit it concisely enough and make it eye-grabbing enough, the algorithm will push it up the ladder and show you to enough people. Whereas all the other ones, you had to buy it. You had to have that 100 people to follow at the beginning. You had to have some sort of connection and something like that. But this way, it's a great equalizer. There are people on here that would never have gotten a shot that are getting a shot. And I'll tell you, this is no joke to all your followers out there. I have gotten 2 calls in just it's just 3 months since May that I started doing TikTok for real, like actually giving a crap about it. 2 calls from real movie directors saying, hey, I liked your ADR video. Can you do some in my movie? Can you do some voiceovers directly from a TikTok video?
Wow.
Little
there you go.
Sponsors, little tiny things, I mean, man. Yeah. I was not a believer. You cannot find me doing anything else anywhere else. But, this pandemic and this whole thing kind of forced it out. Like, you don't poo-poo. I was a big poo-pooer. I know better.
Yeah, we all think we do, but hey, it's equalizes pandemic. But we're almost out of time. If you can believe it, we've been here chatting, vibing about stuff.
This just goes. You're such a great host, my friend.
Oh, stop! I'm supposed to hype you up.
Howard Stern's got nothing on you, man. I just poured my soul out here.
We gotta play a game and bring it out of here, man. You ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
This way is called fill in the blank. I'm gonna say some statements. I have blanks in them. You can answer them with something that fills it in. But if you're like, nah, you can pass. But why would you want to?
Gotcha.
Let's do this. I do interviews, but I can't stand it when people ask me blank.
I can't stand it when people ask me, who are the people you hate in this business?
Ooh, this is too long, probably.
No, it's only like 2 people or 3 people, and I don't want to share into it. I don't want to like give them.
Oh yeah, because you see my Whole Foods to be awkward.
When they're like, come on. Usually I tell one of my friends, and then afterwards I'll be like, I just said that because I couldn't say.
Right.
People I really don't like, but I'm not going to tell you who those people are.
Hey, you're human. When I'm in the car, the one artist I just have to sing at the top of my lungs is blank.
Dave Matthews Band.
Wait, which era of Dave Matthews Band? This is actually important.
Yes, I mean, obviously, listeners supported before these crowded streets, Under the Table and Dreaming.
Okay.
I mean, yes, and maybe like Tool and Rage Against the Machine. But if I'm being really honest, it's Dave Matthews Band.
Hey man, no judgments here.
It's judgments. Yeah, come on. Half your audience is like, and unfollow.
I will judge you later, sir. I won't judge you to your face. Blank is the best way to take care of my throat when it's hoarse.
Warm honey and lemon juice.
Ooh. It's not complicated, but the best way someone could be an LGBT ally is blank.
Actually listening when they talk and not inserting your own thoughts in this.
Well, actually, no, I'm just kidding.
Exactly. I have a big issue with talking too much, and when it's somebody who's not like you in general, if they're talking and you want to learn something, maybe just totally shut the up.
Yeah. We can curse our bros after hours.
Oh, shut the fuck up.
Hey.
Yeah, that's from what I've learned a lot. At least, Los Angeles, you get to meet so many more people than you would in some of the small sections of the country where it's not as diverse. And when you meet so many people who are not like you, let them talk and don't assume you know. That's pretty much the best advice I could get, is just listen.
Listen, y'all.
Yeah.
People always ask, but I get the most of my fashion ideas from blank.
My girls, they don't they tell me what to wear. I don't.
Oh, you have an in-house in-house fashion team? That's dope.
They I would never I don't. I hold it.
Total caveman.
Dude, I when I first met Katie, I had sleeveless in and out shirts. I had like 28 of them. Like that.
Okay.
That was something I thought that was a good idea.
Yeah.
And she was like, One day she just threw them out. I'm like, what? Like, are they collectibles? Are the pit stains? They're gonna nobody is looking at that and going, this guy's got it all together.
I mean, props that she saw through that and said, despite all these shirts, you're still a nice person.
I mean, like, I started figuring out about 12, 13 years ago, you can have an opinion, but if your opinion doesn't please the people you want to please, then you can be alone on that island with your opinion. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, oh, I think these pants are hot. If no one else thinks they're hot, oh, then you can put them on. No one will want to fuck you.
Right. But I look so fly.
Yeah, I think I look great. Do you? Does anybody want to fuck you in those pants? No.
Right.
Take them off. Put on the pants that the people who want to who do you want to fuck? Ask them what you look good in, then wear the thing that you think that. How hard is that? Like, it took me a long time to figure that out. I thought it was all like, because when you grow up and you're a guy in America, you think fronting, and being like, peacocking and just being like the loudest guy in the room is what gets you. Mm-hmm. It's what gets you noticed. And you think it's got to be standing out from the crowd. No.
You're right.
Figure out who you want to attract. Look at who they pick and figure out how to fit into their realm. And if somebody be like, well, that's not being yourself. Really? If you want to be with them, right, the goal should be make them happy. Yes. So figure out what parts of you that are malleable. Malleability, what you wear, right? I can't change my skin tone. I can't change, too much of my natural talking voice. My nose is always going to sound like I got out of an allergy attack, or, like there's cotton balls stuffed up there. I sound a little bit like H. John Benjamin and a reporter. You know what I mean? Like
now you mentioned it.
Oh yeah. Lana. Hey, Lana. I caught it. Totally sound like
totally sound like H. John Benjamin.
Yeah, exactly. And, so that's the way I'm going to say. I can't change that. But what I can change, and what I don't mind changing, is what I put over my body that makes me look one way or another. Like, I didn't normally like this beard. This was the.
First you take my shirts away, and then you tell me to grow this.
Yeah. She likes it. She likes me more like that.
Beer gang's a thing, man. It really is.
It's how hard but this is only what I've learned at 38. You know,
Right.
not 28. So
I got two more for you, man.
okay.
I'm no Gordon Ramsay, but I can really cook some blank. Don't tell me nothing.
I can cook burgers pretty well.
Okay. My favorite food of all time.
There you go.
And lastly, people always say I look just like blank.
Zachary Quinto.
Yeah, I see that.
Zachary Quinto or Eli Roth. I get a lot of Eli Roth.
Yeah.
I can do. Hold on. Wait. This is
oh Lord.
because of my hair and my beauty mark. Here's Colin Farrell. You ready?
Oh, let's do it. It's like someone shined the light in Sonny Crockett's face. I like it.
Right there it is.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, but yeah, those are the guys I get.
Yeah, I have to agree with JLJ here. You are more attractive than Zachary Quinto, I think.
Well, hey, look, if Zachary wouldn't mind sending some of his parts my way, that would be great.
Like Columbia Record Clubs every month, 12 parts.
Holy God, that guy works. Man, does he work. And every time I see it, I'm like, yeah, I see why he does. Yeah.
I mean,
He's a good working. I'll take whatever he doesn't want to do though. Yeah, officially Hollywood.
Yeah, it's here first, and of all the Hollywood agents who are now watching What's Up Flobo After Hours, you heard it here first.
B-list Zachary Quinto is waiting for you.
Yeah,
live long and do well instead of prosper. You know what I mean? Like I can.
That's that great value flow. I love it.
both hands. Come on, guys, both hands.
Keep living and do well, y'all. But Justin Rupple, we're at our hour, man. It was a good time hanging with you, just talking games and sharing your knowledge and all that. If I want to follow you online, if I'm not doing that already, how would I go about doing that now?
It's my last name, The Rupple, Rupple, The Rupple. Just find me on Instagram or TikTok. That's the way to do it. My last name, the only one, The Rupple.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. You just cornered all that. You parked all the social media accounts at once, or was it kind of like a thing? Or
yeah, well, no, it just so turns out there's another Justin Rupple out there who's a preacher.
Oh,
so I was like, no, I'm the one. All right,
we booked the wrong guy.
Here's what's really funny. I've approached him multiple times and asked him for it back. I'm like, look, you don't tweet. You don't use TikTok. You don't use Instagram. Can I just have it back? And he's like, no.
Wow.
Every time he says no, I want to go, ask your friend Jesus.
Right.
What would he say?
Yeah.
He would say, give it back to me. He would totally.
And the Lord said, no trade backsies.
And the Lord,
you're on your own.
And the Lord said, let there be comedy, and you have none of it. So please.
Well, that does it for me. What's Up, Flobo After Hours? Next week, episode 52, a whole year of doing this. We'll have Austin Warren, who was the English dub of Lupin on the Netflix show Lupin. But until next week, After Hours are closed.
Daddy's still a